Afternoon.
All right.
What's going on here? Hope not, it's got a lot to answer for. Anyway, the job today is Saturday morning. It's actually just a bit later on from the last video, because I got back home and I went back to bed for a bit and had a very strange dream, and it was about motorcycles, but that's okay. Right, the fuel tap repair kit is down there. Oh, look, a fuel tap. And basically I'm going to put a new diaphragm in it. Well, it's called a diaphragm. I suppose it's a valve. It's a rubber valve at the end of the day, isn't it? Right, so first job, to get to the fuel tap, I need to take the seat off and the panel of sidage. Yes.
12 seconds later. A few moments later.
Just while this is draining, I'm just draining it into a jerry can. German design, very efficient. When the Allies in the war first captured German jerry cans, British ones were like this down here and really impractical. The German ones were these are self-breathing and all sorts. They were far superior. So from literally that day on, an order was put through for millions of these things. This is obviously a reproduction, it's not an original, but you can pick them up for next to note, but they're still one of the best designs going. But make sure you order the proper clippy-inny hosey thing as well. Anyway, as I was saying, or I wasn't, I forgot on the Z, it's not like a lot of bike fuel taps bolt onto the base of the tank. Like the tank would end here, and the tap would bolt in here with an inbuilt filter and all that lot. I forgot their side they're side mounted on a ZZR. There's nothing behind them. Look, probably showing you fuck all. So what I'm probably going to do is wait for it to drain as much as it'll drain, and what I might just do is, that's the main feed hose, that's the reserve feed hose, because obviously that does actually go to the right to the bottom of the tank, and that your main hose actually goes up here somewhere. So you've got a couple of litres perhaps on reserve. I've got no idea. Not all of it is usable, but it's just done something which it didn't do before without the fuel pump, and that is I was in the red. And normally the bike would get somewhere near the red and then conk out, because obviously it hasn't got a head of fuel to fill the bowls up or to keep demand up. But with the pump, obviously it does, and it started. It starts as a bit of a fart and then starts again basically. I'm getting a really odd, just occasionally, it's almost like the electric's cut. It only does it when it's starting. So I don't know, I might just have a quick look at the starter solenoid while I'm knocking about. But one thing I'm always suspicious of, I can actually see it now. See the battery? I can see a battery terminal down there. That is the positive, and the protective rubber has gone off of it or has moved. I'm just wondering if this bolt-on tray is just touching it and it's just shorting everything out. I don't know. It shouldn't, but it's a possibility, and while I've got the bike partially stripped, I may as well have a look. But the main job today is, of course, fitting this. See, if you see that, the one with all the holes in it, basically it's a rubber valve. And when you move the tap, obviously you move a gateway, and the gateway is feed to engine. So the gateway will pass through main and reserve. So there'll be, when it's on off, there'll be no gates open, or shouldn't be. So yes, and by the looks of it, I think the one inside there is knackered, and I'm great to see there's a couple of spare screws here, and I'm really proud. I'm really happy to see it is actually screwed. Some fuel taps are riveted, which means you know you can drill the rivet out, and then if you've got some very small pop rivets, you can rivet them back together again. But at least this is screwed together, and they don't have to be too tight, because if you tighten it too much, it pushes down on the diaphragm, and the fuel tap can be an absolute bastard to turn. So you just back it off a little bit until it's easy to turn. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to put some red rubber grease all over this so it's lubed. So even if the bike stands with the fuel off, there's still some rubber lubrication in here. So let's file this. And yeah, what I might end up doing is taking it off, putting it on the bench, and having a right good look at it, just make sure everything's working. That sounds like it's almost drained. But, we'll see. I'll leave it a bit. What I'm going to do actually is knock her off the main stand, put her on the side stand, so it hand gestures, it brings it this way a bit, and I'll drain a bit more out. Nice. The door, because the wind's getting up outside, and it was the doors were threatening to do the old haunted house thing. Right, I think what I'm going to do now, I've got a little set of pliers, take these clips off, take the hoses off, and then it's these two screws here, and the tap will and then we can strip it. To strip it, first thing we do, obviously this is the tap, or rather the head of the tap, just like the head of a tap in your kitchen. We'll take that out, and then that's a posi because it's got a dot on it. See the little dot? Yeah. All the screws on this will be JIS, which I think is Japanese Industry Standard. Do not use a normal Phillips, you will round them off, or you will round off your screwdriver. So we take that off, and then we take the backing plate off, and we'll see all the diaphragms, O-rings, and tiny little imps with their tiny little porcelain mugs throwing the petrol. Yes. Jim, lay off the cheese before bedtime. Right, hose is off, tucked out the way. I've just took the main feed behind there, and I've just plumbed the come on Jim, yeah, use your words, think about your words. I've just hooked the reserve one onto this is the overflow, I think it comes from the tank, and there's a little internal pipe, and it goes out there, and then there should be a rubber pipe on there that goes down and will exit by the swing arm. And it's just, if you ever overfill the bike, or you've brimmed it on a hot day and a bit of expansion, it'll go down the hole, and it'll end up on the floor. But yes, I haven't got the pipe. Yeah.
"12 seconds later."
So here we are, in the shed. Tap's down here, I'm sure you can see it. No, Jim, probably can't. Oh well, the tap's down here. So what I'm going to do is move you across, because I put a little camera pad in there, and you should be able to see the tap plug. I can't tell until I look at this footage back what you can actually see, because there's no viewing port or anything on this GoPro like there is on the others, and I don't like using the others. So I'm going to put you there, and then we'll start disassembling this and see what state the diaphragm's in. It was still leaking when I took the fuel pipe off, so it is fucked. Right, I'm going to turn you off, put you on the stand, and just in case I need to edit anything, like when I say Keir Starmer is an absolute Go. Jim, you might have to say that again, because quite often you talk as soon as the camera comes on and nobody can hear what you've got to say. The fact that it's bollocks is completely irrelevant. Right, this is the new kit. So we've got new screws, we've got a new O-ring which sits above the new diaphragm, and there's a smaller O-ring, but a smaller O-ring didn't come out of this, so it's probably sort of a generic kit. And there's nowhere for it to go, to be fair. This is the backing pad. No, there's nowhere for it to go. All this will be cleaned up. So what I'm going to do, look, if you can see, if the camera has focused, there's a bit missing between the two ports, basically, and that's what's causing the leak. The fuel can't shut off because it's trickling through here, and as you can see, the new one, it's all intact and lovely. And what I'm going to do is cover it in a bit of red rubber grease. We're going to put some carb cleaner in here and go, but it's very, very clean inside, which means that the tank is mostly clean. But yeah, that's nice. This can go in anyway, but well, not anyway. Look at this. Oh, it's got a face. Look, it's got a face. Look, it's shocked at the price of petrol in the UK, thanks to our thieving fucking government. So, right, I'm going to go and get my rubber grease. That sounded wrong. And we'll start putting this back together. Penis. Little part of rubber grease. This is just a very thin sort of wavy washer. It just holds everything in without putting undue pressure. Right, I'm going to give you a little lesson now. These are the ports. So, what we've got, this is the orientation on the bike. You've got the feed pipe to the engine. You've got the main feed, which is your main... Jim, don't say main feed twice, you'll sound like a twat. That's your main feed, and then this is the where the reserve port comes in. So the reserve brings fuel up to there, the main brings fuel up to there, and if you look on the tap, you see this is now in the off position. There, look. It corresponds with that. So when that's over that, no fuel can flow. So if we turn it to on, fuel can now flow from the main up to the feed. Same again, we put it in reserve, round. Fuel can go from reserve to engine. So there you go. I hope that helped to explain how this type of fuel tap works. Now let's get back to rebuilding. I don't know why I put the camera down there, because I'm like sitting like an hunchback. Anyway, the ball bearing is missing off the tap, and the ball bearing, basically when it goes around, it's spring loaded, and it's just goes in these little detents as you turn the tap, so you sort of get a feel. You'll get a feel of when it's in the right position. So you click and click, and the ball bearing's not very big. Now I'm pretty sure when I had the GS850 I had to repair one of the switch gears, and it was a really old fashioned kind of switch gear, all really mechanical inside. I'm going to do that again because that was almost what was his name? Grapple me great nuts, Dr. David Bellamy. If you're my age you'll know who I mean. Fully enough, he was on the TV everywhere. He was the go-to scientist when I was growing up. But fully enough, he never, when everybody else like the BBC and it's like jumped on the climate change bandwagon so we could all get taxed a shit fuck more, he never did. He never went on the bandwagon. And he said basically we're coming out of an ice age, so it will get warmer. And he was pretty much banned from TV from that day on. Anyway, that's besides the point. I lost a ball bearing out of the switchgear. Couldn't find it for love nor money. The switchgear wouldn't work properly. I think it was like the indicator switch, so it wouldn't centre. The detent was like in the centre and keek. And I knew I ordered some ball bearings. Well, I've just turfed out the other shed in my many boxes of complete bollocks which you'll probably never need, but there you go. Yeah. I bought a little bag for not much money of 3, 4 and 5 mil ball bearings, so we'll just find one that fits that. See, hoarding works, ladies and gentlemen. Not whores, hoarding. After thinking about whores, I now invite you to the shed to look at my balls. So there we go, we've got 3 mil, 4 mil and 5 mil, and there does look quite a big difference between them, but there isn't. I'm guessing it's 4. I think 4 will fit better. 3 looks too small. I think 3 might disappear down the middle there, and 5 is too big. I don't think 5 will fit. It won't fit in the recess there, because it's got the ball is going to be slightly recessed. So yes, let's put you down and find out which of my balls fits. Choosing your bald port is a lot like making love to a beautiful woman. No, we won't start that shit. Right, let's try 4 mil. Oh yeah, that's nice. Ooh, squishy. Yeah. Just gotta make sure there's a little bit of squish on the spring, which there is. Good. Right. It's 4 mil, so we'll just put those two aside to be lost forever. Showing you my balls in the shed. Right, let's just get the tap the right orientation. Where's the groove? Groove Armada. I've put a little bit of grease on this I do believe it's that. It is. Right. So when I put the tap on, this should be over there. And it is. Excellent. So I need to put the ball in this detent. There we go. Let's have a look. Yeah, see that's got a little bit of spring now, look. Squid, squid, squid. Right, good. Right, we haven't missed anything? No, good. So we'll just seat this. I'm just pushing down a little bit. I'm just going to seat this. Doesn't have to be super tight. There we go. So now I should feel when it goes to the other positions, on and reserve. I had to mark on because I couldn't actually read it because I'm getting old. Right. Did you hear that? There you go. When it gets to the next position, it clicks. There we go. Beautiful. Yeah. Nice. I'm happy with that. There we go. So that's all back together. So the only thing to do now is to put it back on the bike, connect the fuel pipes, and watch in helplessness as fuel pisses everywhere. Back together on the motorcycle. Let's shut that up. Come on, you bastard. All back together on the motorcycle, and no leak so far. It's got fuel in it. I think the fuel, it's about up there, whatever. It's got some in it. Whatever I've drained out, I've put back in again. So what I'm going to do now is very, very quickly just knock it onto reserve, back off again, and a little bit should come out and then stop. That's the hope. Before we put the new diaphragm and stuff in, that would be leaking now. So it's I've got to do it, you know what I mean? There we go. Reserve, beautiful, off. And it stopped. Fantastic. That's what we want. One tap, cured, which hopefully will stop it hydrolocking. And now, over to Tom Baker.
Titties.
All back buttoned up together, no leakage, and that's good. That's really good. One thing I've noticed though, you know I mentioned that is that tray touching the battery terminals. I'm just going to take this tray off because I've noticed, look, that could be a bit of seepage around the battery. Now it could just be a residue from when I rode it in the salt and all that lot. Because if you look at the shock, I think that shock wants coming out and having a clean, and it's actually on maximum preload, which I'm finding is too hard. It's making the tyre work too hard. And to be fair, when I've took a pillion out, the main stand's been grinding out stupidly early. So what I might do is just back this off for solo riding, because that's predominantly what it's going to do. You know, Olive's a good pilly bike, so I might do that. But to adjust the suspension, you've got to drop the shock out. It's easy enough. It's only 2 bolts. You know, and then I think I dropped it out the bottom last time. But you can drop it. You can pull it through the top as well. Just take the tank off, pull it through the top. But that's a job for another day. I'm going to spray some ACF 50 around there. Put a rag over the disc brake. It's nowhere near the disc brake, but just in case, just spray some ACF on it, and the ACF will just halt any corrosione. Yes. I've just had a look. I'm going to show you in a second. I thought I'd got a brand new battery for this, but obviously I charged this one up and it was all right. So I didn't actually replace the battery. So I think what I'm going to do, when I've got a spare bit of dollar, I'm going to get a battery and I don't have to worry about it. But I think it's just a bit of corrosion from when I rolled it in the salt. I'm going to put some ACF on the terminals because I didn't put dielectric grease on. I usually do. I've sprayed the shock. That's alright. And I always spray the back of the swing arm. You know, don't get any on the tyre. Put a rag over the tyre. But by the looks of it, this is the tray that sits on top. Excellent camera work, Gin, fucking brilliant. And it looks like there should have been there was a bit of residue there. If you can see, there should have been a rubber pad, and that rubber pad, because there's no battery strap, no strap on. Stop it, you fucking idiot. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put this old grommet. Now then, lad, jeez. I'm going to put that old grommet on there, just so it's holding the battery down and it's not wiggling. All the connectors rock solid, absolutely rock solid, and this is the charging lead for the battery charger. It's all good. So I know me indicator, you tit. I know my ignition switch is a little bit dodgy. There's a special technique for turning it on, which obviously I'm not going to show anybody. But yeah, otherwise, I mean, it's pretty much, this is all right. The starter solenoid, all that connectors are solid and they're as they should be. So I don't know, I'm just going to carry on regardless, you know, put my blindfold on and carry on. So I'm going to put the bodywork on now. Yes, Jim, shut up. Linked up the tray fittings with some spare fairing fittings I had. Jimmy said fittings twice in sort of one sentence. That's not good English. I just thought I'd just bling it out a bit. I'm quite happy with that. Yes, the video is going along its normal route. One day we might get professional. No, never going to happen. Mainly because I like saying fuck. Now we've got the tap on, I suppose we'd better see if the little bastard starts. He probably won't because the camera's on. Right, is that my dicky neutral again? Yep, think it is. Right. That'll do, donkey. That'll do.